Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to everyone. Once again, you are welcome here on your platform, the platform for awakening consciousness. So this is the headline of international news. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has just demonstrated to France and the world that Emmanuel Macron, if he claimed to be ready to confront Russia, he, as if he is under the reign of Zelensky, is more ready than Emmanuel Macron. Zelensky has just brushed aside the latest proposal from Emmanuel Macron, a proposal on which Emmanuel Macron was counting a lot, and which would allow Emmanuel Macron to do whatever he deemed fit regarding Russia. So, what is this proposal? Emmanuel Macron proposed sending UN peacekeepers to Ukraine to monitor the ceasefire. And it is with this proposal that they wanted to use China to go on the ground. Unfortunately, Ukraine says no. Zelensky says that Ukraine does not need peacekeepers. That is to say, Zelensky knows what he really wants. He wants the conflict to continue in the best possible way, but he wants it to be intense. He likes it when things are heated. So there, we send him money. We must support Ukraine. We must do this, we must do that. So he outright rejects it. Let's go with the official information. Before continuing, I ask you to share the video conference. Share it as much as possible in all groups. Give it lots of likes. And don't forget to put your political slogan in the comments. You write daring is already winning. Yes, let's go in depth. So, what's happening? Vladimir Zelensky, he says we don't need UN peacekeepers in Ukraine. We need troops from Europe and NATO. There you go. So, Zelensky tells him he needs troops from Europe and NATO on his territory, because that's what easily and very, very quickly aggravates Russia. And when they come, Russia will be angry, it will retaliate, and then the ring will start. You will hear that things will resume very well. As long as the conflict continues, Zelensky is at ease, he is happy. So, Zelensky rejected this proposal. But at the same time, as he rejected this proposal, what is happening? He rejects them, but on the ground, Volodymyr Zelensky is speeding up the pace. That is to say, this ceasefire agreement. Already verbally agreed upon, Zelensky organized a festival of violations of this agreement. And what is Zelensky doing? Up until now, Russia has not lifted the directive. Putin has not lifted the directive on the restrictions of his country's airstrikes on Ukraine. So, Putin's order is still in effect. But what happened last night? Russian air defense systems destroyed 59 drones, Ukrainian drones over Russian regions. Over the course of last night, as mentioned, here is what the Russian Ministry of Defense reported. 59 drones were destroyed. And this time, Ukraine, finding itself alone on the battlefield, is launching drones towards several Russian regions. Something that was not on the agenda before. But now this is Volodymyr Zelensky's new tactic. According to official information, over the course of last night, the air defense systems in service intercepted and destroyed 59 Ukrainian drones, 29 over the Rostov region, 20 Solo drones over the Astrakhan region, 3 drones over the Kyrgyzstan region of Voronezh, 3 drones over the Volgograd region, 2 drones over the Republic of Crimea, 1 drone over the Kursk region, and 1 over the Saratov region. This is what the Russian Ministry of Defense reported. Volodymyr Zelensky. is only speeding things up. He is now launching drones all over the place. Russia is always on alert. Russia is only intercepting. So, when we return to Emmanuel Macron's intentions, Macron is very disturbed. He is very, very disturbed. On March 27th, the 27th of this month, he convened a meeting in Paris. This meeting will bring together what he calls the volunteers. The volunteers to go ensure the security of Ukraine. And on behalf of these volunteers, he proposed that it be under the aegis of the United Nations. It was just a plan to mask the fact that it would be European and NATO troops. But Zelensky, he doesn't understand it that way. He wants to get straight to the point. He doesn't need us to say helmet, blue, long. Because when it's the blue helmets, there will be restrictions, limits. Everyone knows the mandate given to the blue helmets. But he wants it to be Europe and NATO that come directly. Oh, Vladimir Putin said that this is inadmissible, it's unacceptable. If they do it, it means they have provoked Russia, and Russia's reaction will be disproportionate. But they are being stubborn. Europe is being stubborn. Meanwhile, America is also preparing the grand project of Donald Trump that we talked about. America is preparing to protect its sky over 9 million square kilometers with the American Steel Shield, an anti-missile system that will be there to stop long-range missiles. This means that the world is still very far from peace and the ceasefire agreement. No one even believes in its coming between Ukraine and Russia. This Joseph-Le-Feu agreement is likely to never see the light of day. Some commentators even go as far as to say that the return of Jesus Christ is more likely. Jesus Christ could come quickly than the return of peace between Ukraine and Russia. Because there are people lurking in the shadows who feed off this conflict and do not want it to end. This is the example of Europe. This is the example of France. From where we saw Emmanuel Macron suddenly stand up, KO, like that. Suddenly, while Donald Trump is fighting for the conflict to end, no, he is forming his war cabinet by summoning his war chiefs. So, ladies and gentlemen, his proposal was rejected by Zelensky. Here is the highlight of the news. I ask you to share it as much as possible. I will be back shortly with more news. This was the voice of your one and only samurai.